This is Robert with Pioneer Smokehouses, and today we're going to do something really simple. We're going to do some sausage in the Bradley analog electric smoker. The main reason we're doing this is because we want to push out some cooks, and I wanted to do something real simple that we could keep track of, and we know like a baseline known quantity. So we know if it works, we can control the temperature really well, and we can tell whether or not the results were good. For today's recipe, I am not making sausage. I rarely do that. I do know how and have done it in the past. So we will link a recipe for that in the description. But I just bought brand name store sausage and made sure that they were in nice shape and set them out on a grill mat. I went ahead and I started the preheating process on the smoker, and we're just at 100 degrees right now, and it still has a little ways to go. Go ahead and put these in there real quick. I'm going to take the tray out all the way with this one. I find that it's just easier to do that and then to kind of lay it in there because of the rim. The nice thing about the rim is nothing ever falls out. And with sausage, that can be an issue. But then you have the rim there, so you can't slide it off easily. But my friend did tell me that he cooks a lot of things with the basket trays upside down. So I'm going to go ahead and set this in there. And the next thing I'm going to do is I actually did a little bit more seasoning with a pellet smoker tube when I was done doing one of my other videos. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this to the side. The box is completely empty, so there's hardly any ashes in the ash pan, and there's no fuel in it yet. What I'd like to do is I'd like to hit this with about 2 hours of smoke. And after that point, I would like to just let it run for a little more than an hour and a half. I would like to get my vegetable dish in there just after about the 1 hour mark. So let's go ahead and put in that 2 hours of smoke. So I have 6 biscuits right here, and that'll give me 2 full hours. I'm gonna put the first one in by itself, and then the rest of them, I'm just gonna go ahead and drop them all in there. I like to get that first one down in there because if I have to correct it, I can reach down and move it around. And then we're gonna put 3 of these in there. Now the reason I'm using 3 is so I can fully clear it and it'll be good to go. Be a little windy today. So it is running and it's got a little bit of temperature to recover. Want to get it right in about the 200 degree range. So it's going to probably take about 10-15 minutes to settle out there. And then we're going to have to watch it during that 15 to 20 minute period to make sure that we don't go too far over that temperature or even under. The one thing about an analog smoker is you have to dial it in and adjust it. There is some other newer smokers that have come along that are in the propane that actually have thermostats in them. And then my buddy's Bradley smoker is digital. And right about now, I'm thinking that might be where I would actually take my preferred recommendation, but it does cost more. And if you're just into the smoke part and you're not worried about getting the temperature really dialed in, then I would recommend that you buy the cheaper model. So we're watching it go now. I'm gonna close this. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about the chimney while I'm waiting for this to heat up. Now, as I did in the other video, I just like to set a 4-inch pipe on the top of this vent, which looks like it's about 3.5 inches wide. So I took a picture here of the top vent so you can see it, but the pipe is behind it, so it makes it hard to tell that it's actually bigger. So I'm going to set this to the side, and I'm going to tell you what I got today. The reason I'm doing this cook today is because this part showed up today. This is what they call a takeoff in the industry. There's another word for it that was on there, but it's like a vent connector or something that was on from the manufacturer's site. But the HVAC people, they call it takeoff. If you'll see here, it's got a two-sided tape on it, so that way you can remove this and attach it to anything. Or, and I'm assuming that you would do both in an HVAC system, but you can also use these holes right here. There's 3 of them for screws. And then once you remove this, you would connect it and get a tight seal, and then you would screw it in. Now, you won't be able to do that if you're planning on adjusting this. I leave this open all the time except for when I'm first starting it. However, if you were to remove some of this, you might be able to still adjust it while this is attached, but it would be pretty tight. I'm going to go ahead and open this now and set this on top. And then I'm going to set this on top. I do have screws that I can attach this with, but I'm not going to bother drilling any holes in that right now. And primarily I'll probably use this on the smokers because my new Masterbuilt electric smoker has the flat surface vent also. Now that we have this heating up, I'm going to go ahead and advance the biscuits until we get this thing going. So I have to press the button 3 times. So you press the button and wait for it to drop. Then I like to count to 5. Press the button again. I'm going to take a look in here because I don't know if one of them already advanced. Okay, no, it's not in there. So this time when I press the button, that biscuit will move into the burning position. And I don't know if you could see here, but they all drop down. So there's now 3 loaded into the feeder, and the last one is actually on the burner. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera, and I'm going to sit and watch that. We're up to about 120 degrees right now, and I'm just going to dial that in, and then I'll go prep my side vegetable dish, and I'll take a few pictures to share with you when I come back. So I'm ready to load my side dish, and what we have for the side dish here is cauliflower, and it's cheesy cauliflower, similar to like a macaroni and cheese bake. And I'm going to go ahead and load that in. And while I'm doing that, go ahead and take a picture that I just took before I went to put it in here. I'm going to grab this rack on the bottom and move it up. And I put that directly under the sausage on purpose so that way I can catch that juices. If I didn't want to catch the juices from the sausage, then I would have put the tinfoil sheet up a little bit higher so it acted as a tray to prevent that from happening. So you can see that picture there. So let's go back to the beginning picture now. And what we're going to look at here is we're going to look at the ingredients for this. So what I do with my macaroni and cheese or with my cauliflower is just about the same thing. So in the picture here we have a small head of cauliflower, and we have about a cup of regular white sliced mushrooms, and then you'll see that we have some mozzarella cheese and some cheddar cheese. The cheddar cheese is for a topping. We're not going to put that on here until we're a lot farther along. Then we have garlic as the main seasoning. You could add other seasonings if you like. I have to kind of balance it out with what I like and what my wife likes. Another thing that I might consider adding is Italian seasoning. You could use a mixed blend, or you could throw some oregano and maybe thyme and sweet basil, of course, because sweet basil is my wife's favorite. You could throw that in, or just use a store-bought Italian mix, which is something that I like to do sometimes. Then you take and cut the cauliflower into small pieces and put it in the steam basket. So here's my steamer running, and Normally I would cook the cauliflower for 7 minutes on the steamer in regular sized pieces. But because they're small pieces, I want to go under 6 minutes. I do not want to go over, or it's just going to end up being total mush. While I'm doing that, in my wok, I went ahead and put in the block of cream cheese and a half a cup of almond milk. Once that completely melted, I added a little bit more almond milk, and then I put in the mushrooms and the tablespoon of garlic granules. I mixed that all together and had that completely mixed, and then I added the mozzarella cheese, and then as soon as that was done, which was almost exactly the same time, the cauliflower was done, and I threw it all in the wok, and this is what the picture looks like here of everything mixed in the wok. From there, I sprayed the pan, the foil pan going in the smoker here, with some spray olive oil, or you can use regular vegetable oil, making sure that you spray the corners really good. I'm not too worried about the rest of it. And then poured all that stuff in. The oil, any of the extra, will come up to the top because it's not going to mix well with the cheese unless you kind of force it in there. But you might have seen some of that around the edges in the picture. So it's just going to sit in here and it's going to smoke with the sausage. The sausage got a little higher temperature than I wanted. It was running at about 250 instead of 225. So we'll have to pull the sausage a little bit early, but I'll go ahead and keep an eye on that and watch how that goes, and we'll get that done and go from there. I'll be another hour, but you will see me in a couple more seconds. So it's been almost 20 minutes and the smoke is just about died out. So I came out to check on the sausage and they look like they were actually done. I was hoping that they would make it another hour, but they did not. So I'll go ahead and show those to you real quick. Now I have a couple of different options. I can either set them in the oven and just turn it on for a couple of minutes and then turn it off so it stays warm for an hour or whatever. Or I can toss them in a bag and throw them in the sous vide, which is what I'm going to do. Then I can set them at holding a temperature of 145 and they can just sit there and rest until dinner time. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. And that was not difficult at all. And then I'll just set this on the side, put it over on the metal because it might still be hot. One more look at those real quick. Let's step back a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and take care of these and put them inside, and then I'll be back to check on this in about 30 more minutes. I popped my head in there a minute ago and it was ready for the cheese, but look, I forgot the cheese, so I had to go back in the house and get it. This is just a topping, so it doesn't have to melt completely, but I just want it to start to melt on there. And then when it's resting in the house, it can finish. So here I have one of those sausages. And a knife. This is one of my Victronix knives, and they are just awesome. I love them. So I'm going to cut a slice right down the middle. And like I said, it's just a standard sausage, nice and juicy, just looks perfect. So I'll just give it a try, make sure it's got that all good flavor. I think the most important thing when you're using a smoker is that you get the flavor that you're looking for. Of course, you want everything to be moist and juicy and tasty, which this is, but a lot of that has to do with other things in preparation, not necessarily the smoker, as long as you don't burn your food. This, being, like I said, brand name sausage is definitely a quality item, so I had a lot to work with. I'm going to go ahead and cut a second piece just because it was that good. Come up a little bit closer here. Get you a little bit closer look. And I can taste it, the smoke all the way around. It's not like super heavy because I only hit it for a couple of hours. We're gonna take a break for about 5 minutes to let that cheese set in, and then we'll be right back. Our cheese is melted, so let's grab that out of there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. And I'm gonna show this to you, but when I had the camera off, I took my fork back in the house. So I don't know, I might, let's see if I can steal a piece out of the corner here. It's too hot to grab any out of there. So I really need a fork. But here's what we've got. And it looks great. It could be a little more crispy on the top. And I have a solution for that. Don't go anywhere. When you want a little crisp, just use your sous vide torch. I said sous vide and I meant brulee. Oh, there we go. That's exactly what I was going for. All right, well, thanks for watching. So far, so good. Just a little update on this smoker. The temperature control is definitely something that I am needing to get down a little bit better. So before the next video, I think what I'll do is I'll run a few cooks, like I'll do a steak or two and maybe some hamburgers. That way I can get a better idea of how to control the temperature and where to set it at to get the right temperature that I'm looking for. But as far as a durable unit and as far as good smoke flavor, we definitely have that here. And I don't see any reason why you should hesitate if this is something that you're looking for. Again, nice size. Baskets are very friendly and keep things from falling out. And my buddy just kills it on his jerky and on his cheese all the time. So there is affiliate links below, and if you use those, I will get compensated, so thank you. Also, there's some article links, including a sausage link in the first line, and the review for this item also to my website. So thank you very much. Have a great day.